Gotcha.
Yeah, so from that, I learned a lot of things. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I hadn't drank in almost a year. Uh, I fought depression. I lost my mom about 3 years ago, and I went into a deep depression, and I came out of that. And that's pretty much it. I got a lot of advice through experience. I made a lot of mistakes in life, and I learned from them, and I like to share that with people. You
We
know,
appreciate you. We appreciate you being here. Welcome in everybody to the Lotus Lounge here on the Plenty of Fish app. My name is Uma B, 1111, top badge Uma B. And we have tonight
yeah,
our first Sober Saturday topic. We're talking tonight about gaslighting and manipulation. Guys, we are on a dating app. So, of course, we're all here
hey,
to
can you
date.
meet me real quick? Meet me real
I
quick.
got you. And we are here to date. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that sometimes this term gets thrown around very loosely. So I want to start by kicking it off by posing this question to Zen. You know, Zen, what do you think about do you think you can maybe determine or define the terms manipulation, gaslighting, so we can have a clear understanding of what it is before we start?
I'm gonna Google it like I always do. 1 second.
That's the best thing to do.
Manipulation definition.
It's the best thing to do. I Google everything.
Here's the definition of manipulation: the action of manipulating something in a skillful manner.
It is the action of manipulating something in a skillful manner. The action of manipulating someone in a clever and unscrupulous way.
Interesante. Okay. And gaslighting.
All right, here we go. Gaslighting definition. The definition of gaslighting is to manipulate someone using psychological methods into questioning their own sanity and powers of reasoning.
All right. So where do we want to start with this? Where do you guys want to start? Because what was funny for me was this week when I started like thinking about this stream, I was like, what topic should I do? And each of the three of you, for whatever reason, this week we're talking about gaslighting or manipulation. So where do you guys want to start with this?
Uh, we can start with a test case, right? We look at Halle Berry, considered one of the most beautiful women in the world. When she was with her ex, uh, uh, hold on, give me a second. When she was with her ex, he told her every day she was ugly, and then she started to believe that. So gaslighting after repeating something to a person over and over to break them down, so you can have some kind of power over them. What's she say? Oh, okay.
She's double streaming, so she's bringing people over here.
Okay.
So it is the power of getting people to believe something that's not true. That
Yeah.
sounds really psychotic. I don't know. Can we
What's up
say
with you
that?
telling her?
It's not necessarily psychotic. Manipulation has been used since the beginning of time. Cleopatra did it with Julius Caesar, causing their empire to fall. So sometimes people manipulate in order to gain access to resources that they otherwise are denied. She was a nation unprotected by men. And so she used her power of persuasion to force them to fight each other to destroy themselves. So sometimes it can be used as an act of war. It's mostly used as an act of war. It allows you to defend yourself when you know you are the weaker vessel. Women are great at it because they are the weaker of the two, or they're seen as the weaker of the two genders. It also can get you out of getting hurt. A guy come and talk to you. He really wants to get to know you, but you're like, you know what? I'm gonna give you a number. It may not be the right number, but it's a number so that you're appeased and they're not violated. So depending on what condition in which using your skills can be manifested, yes, manipulation to someone who's shooting true to you is absolutely horrible. But in the case where you have to deceive to protect yourself, that's what you have to do. So it's a double-edged sword.
Um, I want to add on that. On that also, it's about the will and intent. Like if you're using it for goodwill and good intent, then that's okay. But if you're using it to cause harm to somebody or to take resources from them on the virtues of what I see a lot of it is you can't tell somebody you love them, but then try to manipulate them, because that's not what you should do. That's not accountability, and that's not being trustworthy. So when you're dealing with your specific partner, you don't want to start using those ploys because then it's going to become a tit for tat, and then it's going to be a manipulative relationship.
Do you guys feel that most people that are manipulating or gaslighting, do you feel that they're aware of it, or they're like unconsciously or not aware that they're doing it?
I think it is a survival mechanism. Like she said, people use it for survival. So the most manipulative people, they have the less resources. Just like she said, manipulation is used to gain resources that you couldn't acquire using regular traditional methods. So I think it's more of a survival mechanism, and it's a fear mechanism. Like for this app, for existence, people are scared if they don't use those tactics, they won't get done. So that's why they use calling people broke in a shooter. That's gaslighting. When you call somebody broke, you gaslighting them to try to make them shoot, and shoot for you. So it's manipulation being used all the time in relationships. But once they become a part of who you are, you start using it in everything from work to you start reading them 10 laws of power, which is all about manipulation. You start reading those books. And just like on the internet now, once you start reading on the subject, it's going to keep taking you to the subjects, whether it's truthful or not. It's just going to keep taking you to the same similar subjects because people don't know how to do peer reviews and use a scientific method to come up with a solution to a problem. So a lot of people just start reading articles because they keep agreeing what they're saying. They think it's right. So you should check those people right there and then when they try to use those tactics.
I want to say this. Manipulation and use to defend yourself is not a bad thing. Gaslighting is exaggerated manipulation. It is a horrible thing because you're using trigger words and trigger phrases, positive trigger words and trigger phrases to get someone to disarm themselves, to give you those resources. So I can say, hey, my car broke down. Can I get $50? But then you see me in my car a day later, right? Or I can say, oh my God, you're so amazing. I love you. Oh my God, you're just everything. Babe, darling, honey, sweetheart, sugarfoot, daddy. Girls call dudes daddy or mama. You know what I'm saying? Use those trigger words. And using those words to gain access to resources when they don't come with the will, like he said, the will and intent to be genuine is a problem. And that's master manipulation. And gaslighting can make you feel like you're in something great when it really is not that way.
But then you got to look at that. For me, because I have children, don't call me dad. I'm not your dad. That's sick. Why you trying to engage with with your partner? You call your partner daddy. That's like some daddy issues, some neglect or abandonment issues.
It's to prey on your savior complex. The goal in calling you daddy is to prey on your ability to save someone. Men have a desire to want to save. And when a woman calls him daddy, you have her like a father. What does a father do for a child? He provides. So you're going to be naturally, instinctually inclined to take care of a woman who shows submission in the word, which is a master manipulation.
I'm gonna tell her don't call me that because I ain't your daddy. You got one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I just want to say I don't have a daddy complex. But anyways, welcome in everybody. This is Sober Saturdays in the Lotus Lounge.
Ghost is down there.
Please request the box. I want to tell the people in the comments, if you have any questions tonight for tonight's show, please put the questions in the comments, or you can request the box. We have our third panelist that just came in. So please request the box. And we have a great question from Mr. Six. Do people manipulate for protection? Is it part of a woman's wall or is it part of a man's wall? Thank you, Rose. Welcome men? Or is it part of a man's emotional breakdown? Let me repeat that question. Do people manipulate for protection? Is it a part of a woman's wall? Is it a part of a man's emotional breakdown? What do you guys say?
I think it's a learned behavior. I think when a child is born, they naturally will lie. It's something you have to teach them. Accountability is something you have to teach through your action to a child. So what I think has happened in society, just my personal opinion on it, is because of that do as I say, not as I do mentality, you don't teach a child accountability. You teach them when they get in a position of authority, they can do whatever they want without accountability. So us as parents, we have to instill that in childs that you don't have to manipulate. Strong people don't manipulate.
Yeah, it is literally a skill set that is taught. And believe it or not, girls learn this skill set on men by doing it to their fathers. A lot of young girls learn how to manipulate their father, and then in turn they go out in the world and they learn how to manipulate men.
So how
Yeah,
do we get the young girls to, like, is the father responsible for telling the young girl don't do that?
Absolutely. He is absolutely responsible. He needs to, when she does it, he say, you don't have to do that. Just ask me straight up. He needs to correct the behavior. If he corrects the behavior, then the first time she interacts with a man, he's going to either teach her that it's okay or he's going to teach her it's not, even if it's not the father.
and that's like abandonment and neglect issue. When you, as a man, when you neglect, especially if you have a young girl, if you don't give her the proper attention and teach her, especially when you interact with her mom as well, everything you do to that child, because you are there. When you have children, they look up to you. Like so, when you interact with your significant other or your baby mom or whatever, if you're not interacting with her in the right way, that young lady can see how you interact, and those are the type of men she'll go to. And if there's a neglect, if you're not around, you're not in her life, that void is what need to be filled. So when they look for that void, any guy that would give them that attention, they'll jump on them. And you can see this with sexual activity and all kind of stuff. It come from molestation. It's all kind of things that lead people into those manipulative tactics.
I just want to do a quick shout out. Welcome in, Ghost God. We're so pleased to have you here. I had the panelists introduce themselves earlier. If you want to take like a quick minute to just, tell us a little bit about yourself, your stream, so we could get to know you and then join in the conversation.
Okay, I'm Ghost God. As you can see, on my stream, we primarily focus on mental health topics, narcissism, cluster B personality disorders, um, and manipulation as well, because it kind of aligns with those personality disorders. A lot of those people who suffer from those personality disorders, they survive through manipulation. So as a consequence, I teach people how to spot manipulation, so they can protect themselves from such behavior. That's about it on my end.
All right, welcome in. So let's get back to the conversation. Thank you, Ghost God, for being here. If you guys want to request the box to join the conversation, we have one guest box available. So how it works is you would jump in, share your point of view, ask a question, comment, and then if somebody else requests the box, I'll just put my finger up to let you know that I'm taking you out and putting the other person in. But the panelists always stay. Where do we want the conversation to go? Go ahead. You know what I had to ask all of you? Is it possible, like Zen started by saying manipulation is as old as time? She mentioned Cleopatra. So is it possible that manipulation could be a natural thing that it's just something we're meant to do or naturally do?
I think earlier I talked about it as a survival instinct. When something is stronger than you, you're gonna go to whatever tactics that you can use to try to get a competitive edge. It's kind of like playing chess without your queen. You got to use untraditional tactics to achieve your overall goal of checkmate. It's like being lesser than the people you're going against. So you got to use unconventional tactics to
I'm
achieve
an
the resources that.
What would you say if somebody said, what about positive manipulation? Like say a trainer trying to get his client to lose weight and say things like, oh, don't you want to wear that dress for New Year's Eve or something? Like, so is there any kind of way that manipulation could be positive?
No, that's gaslighting. No, it's not. Because if you tell someone they look nice walking out and someone in their honesty say you look bad, you suck, you do all those things, then what you did is you set that person up for failure. I think as parents, we do it to our kids to try to boost their self-esteem, but it could be counterproductive when they go out in society and the behavior that you found beautiful and okay, the world doesn't find it as inviting. And so now the child, as an adult, has a hard time adjusting to adulthood because they have a false sense of reality. So
Appreciate that.
you can
Appreciate that.
actually damage someone's psyche by doing that. Because once someone else say, "Oh, that's ugly," "Oh, you're tacky," "Oh, I would never wear that dress," now what you're doing is they're going to go home and not trust your words, and that's going to be a problem. So never gaslight. Tell the truth, but be kind about it.
I'm on the fence on that for because when we talk about beauty or what looks good, that's an opinionated statement. I'm more so instilling self confidence. What I instill in my children is anybody's opinion don't matter except for how you feel about yourself. The world can view you any way you want, as long as you're comfortable in your own skin. Uh, you doing things with goodwill, good intent, and being the best person you could be. Somebody's opinion you don't matter, because people make up stuff. Uh, who cares? What one person find beautiful, somebody else can find ugly. What one person find attractive, somebody else can find ugly. So people's opinion, you shouldn't value that as much, and just focus on loving yourself.
Unfortunately, we're in a socially connected world, and other people's opinions, for whatever reason, um, is validated by the choices we make, even in, and I understand what you're saying as a father, but then your child's stimulation is mostly school and social media. So you're asking your child to not take in. It's not like the time when we were little. If you're over 40, you know what I'm talking about. We were little, we didn't have social media. So
Hmm.
there was nothing to compare an action to. Whereas today, it is scrutinized, it is hyper it's hyper used that we have to fit into something.
Not
So
fit in none.
no, understand what I'm saying. As a father, you're doing the right thing. The way you're doing it is right. But if your child comes to you and say, "Dad, do I look good?" and you say, "Yeah, baby, you look good," that's fine. But if your wife tells you, "Hey, I look good," and you know good and well that that shirt is too tight and it's rolling up her side, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Well, welcome
She
in
will.
616.
I,
I just want to
I,
I
I'm
just
gonna
want to
tell you
shout
what.
out everybody. Go ahead and please hit report on Kevin G2X and bouncers. Handle that. Welcome in 6'6".
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, brother. You were finishing a thought.
No, I was just saying, self confidence is the key. That's why on this internet space, my children they watch me stream. I try to interact to teach them how to move in internet space. People call me names all day, like Kevin G, one of my trolls. He probably followed me over here to call me the N word. These people are attention. It's called attention seeking behavior. Usually, when people act out in a negative way, they're not receiving attention, or they never received the attention as a child uh, that they needed. So that's some neglect issues, and then you can get blaming on a culture or a race based on his upbringing. So especially you see that a lot in here in Alabama, little poor white kids can't eat and they blame it on black people. So the kid grow up not liking black people because his stomach hurt. You know what I'm saying? But
Wow.
it's simple things like that. You just gotta be aware of.
Welcome in. Big shout out to Flag, who's watching from Brooklyn. We appreciate you, Flag. Yes, go ahead, six.
First of all, hello to everyone on the stream. Hello to the panelists. Hello, Uma.
What's
Um,
Miss Six?
Not much, man. Ghost God, salute. Hey, Zen.
Mm.
So it's I think when we say that this is a trait that we learn as far as survival, And then even with just what just happened, I think a lot of times we have people manipulating situations in a moment where, like we just said, like we just saw, somebody wants attention. So they'll manipulate a room to make themselves the focal point of said room. No different than a woman seeing the guy that she likes getting flirted with. She'll come in and manipulate a situation to make it look a certain way. So now this guy will pass judgment or make a choice between the two. So when we say this is a survival instinct, how can you combat manipulation when it is always, in most cases, coming at you unexpected? I think that's the whole point of it being manipulation. It was something you may not have quite been ready for, ready to receive, were expecting, but now you have to deal with it.
All right, on that one, actions, right? So usually with manipulation, words is not going to align with action. One thing a manipulator will not do is stand in accountability. So hold them
Facts.
accountable, check them on it. And what they're gonna do, I'm gonna tell you what they do. They're gonna make it your fault. First thing they're gonna do, and the best thing you can do, don't say nothing. Because one thing a
Okay.
manipulator can't do, they can't manipulate a situation that they don't know nothing about. So if they don't know what you're saying, you just let them talk themselves out. So they're gonna keep trying to manipulate because it's a lie. A lie, you have to keep lying to keep up with it, and eventually the lie
Right.
is gonna eventually surface. So all you gotta do is do nothing and don't entertain it and check them on it right then and there.
All right.
I was in Ghost God's stream just a couple of days ago, and he had a really great topic as well about manipulation and gaslighting. And I asked him, and Ghost, I'd love for you to, I don't know if you remember, but repeat your answer. I was asking you, is it possible that somebody could be unknowingly like gaslighting you? Because I told him I had a friend on here, a female streamer, and she called me and we got into it. And then she was just trying to say things that I didn't say, but it really felt like a setup, like she was trying to record me or something to get me to say something. And I was just like, what is going on with you? And I asked
I'll
him,
be
I
back.
said, is it possible that people, and she really swears that she's not, she's good, she's wholesome and all of that. She really believes this. So Ghost, do you remember what you said to me about that?
Yeah, that was a good question. Yeah, people can. Oh, I'm sorry. People can manipulate you. They can manipulate you subconsciously. Yeah. People can manipulate you subconsciously, and I focus on those. Those are some of the most dangerous people. The people who manipulate you consciously, they could still be dangerous, but not as dangerous to people who does it subconsciously.
So you're
And a
saying
lot of
they're
those,
worse. They're worse than the conscious ones.
yeah, they are. It is. Yeah, it is. Because it's a lot fluent, it's a lot smoother, it's a lot more natural, and it's part of their makeup. It's not something that they're trying to do. It's something that's being done as a self-defense mechanism in order for them to sustain survival. So they are unaware of it. It is a self-defense mechanism. And so with that being said, it's very natural. That's what make it. In some of these cases, their heart rate won't increase. They won't skip a beat. It'll be as natural as I'm talking to you right now. And
so are these people delusional? Like, are they?
No, those people have a pathology. And so you have to understand, and that's when you get into those groupie personalities that he was talking about. You're talking about people who have psychosis, people who have a form of I don't want to say the word because I kind of don't like to label people, but they have I don't like labeling people. I don't like labeling people. It's not a label, but this is what happens. Ghost God is talking. When Ghost God was talking, it got me there. Psychosomatic stress disorder is what that sounds like to me. The way he just described that.
Welcome in, Ms. We have somebody that's requesting the box. So if you want to ask your question or give your comment, and I'm going to replace you with the next person. All right. Welcome in.
Hey, no, I just wanted to say manipulation is strong. A few years back, because I'm a little older, I was dating a younger woman, and I let her manipulate me every single day. I allowed it because she was younger, beautiful, and I, know I'm better than that. So just saying, it can happen to anybody, and it's a strong thing. Manipulation, it can happen to anyone.
So
So
that's
anyone that it's happened to, don't be embarrassed by it. Don't be it happens. So I wanted to say, I just want to jump in. Great stream.
Thank you, Ms. Thank you. So, question to the panel now: the age manipulation, is that as big and a popular thing as Ms. is saying? Thank you, Ms. I'm gonna replace you. All right, come back
Yeah,
anytime.
guys.
Hi, Cheeky.
One thing I learned through my journey was through being drunk, through going through depression, grieving. Um, when you go to those states of deep depression where you don't care about things, it's easy for manipulators to move in because you let your guards down. You go through a state when you're going through depression, you start flushing your minerals and you start letting things out of your body, so you can't function in the way that you should. That's why you stop eating. You can't sleep right because your body is out of line. And one of the things I learned, I got that way because I wouldn't cry. Like when your body natural response to trauma, you should let it out so you don't build up those. It causes other health problems like stress. It runs your stress up. It causes other problems because you're not healthily dealing with it. And as a man, a lot of times we don't feel comfortable being vulnerable. But really, vulnerability gives you your strength when you live in accountability. Accountability, you don't have to have secrets no more because you no longer care what people think of you, you know. And then you can truly find happiness because you're trying to be trustworthy and be honest and live a righteous life.
All right, welcome in, Aether. What would you like to contribute to the conversation?
So there's quite a few things on this subject I could go in with. Number one, the first thing would be hypnosis. 90% of people in this chat are affected by hypnosis and don't even know what hypnosis is.
Well, I'm
Well,
a
you
certified.
explain.
Okay.
I know.
Who's your favorite music artist?
I don't have one.
You don't listen to music.
I do. I like each person got a different. It's different genres of music. No artist is the same, so I like different artists based on what genre they are. So I have
Okay.
no favorite.
Okay, well, just give me one of your favorites then.
I have
Bob
none.
Marley.
I
I love
like
Bob
I
Marley.
like songs.
Okay, give me your favorite song then.
I like it's a lot of them. It's Lay Low, Play Slow by young guy. I like that song. My songs are based on my mood. So different moods, I listen to different music. I like classical music. I like country, R&B, rap, some alternative.
So there you go. Right off the bat, you said that you like different music for different moods, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, when we were kids, we pretty much knew if we could annoy our parents, they were going to give us what we wanted.
No, get ass with
That's true. I mean, for me, yeah.
it. Yeah.
I guess with most people, if you can annoy them and they can't get rid of you other than by giving you what you want, they're going to give you what you want. Okay. At the same time, we feel inclined to give people what they want if they make us feel a certain way, right?
Uh, it I think it's more so your level of mental health.
Hmm. Ooh.
Hey, Ghost Guard got some.
Yeah. And I want to use this right now, what just happened. I don't know if it went over everybody's head, but okay, this is what I mean by manipulation, all right? So I don't know the young man's name here. What is it? After what is how do you pronounce your
Just
name?
cheeky, just cheeky.
Oh,
Okay,
cheeky. Yeah, cheeky.
Okay, so let me run it back, right? So Cheeky asked he asked the young man, what is your favorite rap artist? What is your favorite artist?
Favorite artist, yeah.
Right. That was the question. What is your favorite? I'm going to use this as an example, okay? As in manipulation in practice. All right. What is your favorite artist? He said he don't have one. He replies, you don't listen to music? That's manipulation right there. Okay.
I was
And
wondering if anyone was going to catch it. You're smart.
okay.
I
And
did. That's why I didn't respond.
I did not. It went right over my
that
head.
that
I actually didn't respond for that very reason. Because
that
your
and
goal was to get him to change his mindset about what you needed and wanted from him. So eventually you got the answer you wanted.
Yeah,
You still got
the
the
best
answer
way to
because he got
set
him
the
to
flame
answer
for
the question.
himself.
He set a boundary. He asked it in a different way. He
Mhm.
paraphrased it and moved it another way. And then he gave him the answer anyway, instead of saying, Sir, I already told you I do not have a favorite artist, and that is not a question I want to answer. So instead of standing firm on his boundary, he moved it to accommodate him. And that's what we do in our humanity. Absolutely.
okay, yeah. And this is the one I want to focus on as well. It's called the revision of history. All right, that's what it's called, the revision of history. And he revised history by changing something in the past to support a narrative in the present. All right, because let me tell you what just happened by him asking, well, you don't listen to music. He never. That wasn't the question. The question was what is your favorite artist? And the guy said he don't have one. And by him replying that what you don't listen to music, he just revised history. Uh,
That's wild.
right. He just revised history, and it had nothing to do. It's a byproduct of his question, but it wasn't directly his question at all.
Yeah, hey, you know what I did? Instead of giving you a general category, I just gave you specific. So I answered the question the same exact way, just gave you different subject matter. But then you
Yeah,
was happy with that. You know what I'm saying?
The whole
yeah.
point,
In real time, I would have replied that by saying that wasn't your question because it
Hey,
wasn't.
that's yeah.
now the
It
whole
was.
point
He
of
went.
somebody who's going to try to manipulate you is they should not right off the bat try and manipulate you into what they're getting you into. They want to lull you into a soft, sense of security. Like, oh, okay, I relate with this person, and then about once it's just like I said with hypnosis, that's called conversational hypnosis. I'm lulling you in to where I'm bringing you to. A fisherman, he doesn't just throw the line out into the water with no bait on it, get a fish, bring it back, and do that over and over and over. He has to put the bait on the hook, he has to throw the hook out, he has to let it sit, and he has to wait for the fish to come by and see if the fish will make the choice of biting that hook if it's appealing. A good fisherman knows that if you don't have bait on the hook, you're much less likely to catch a fish. In that, I was actually going to go through to see how music emotionally triggers him into what that would make him be more likely to do. Like a lot of people I know, if they listen to a certain kind of music while they're drinking, I mean, they'll just tell you they get more frisky, we'll just say. But without the alcohol, without the music, would they have felt that? In which, like I said, you're being manipulated on a very subconscious level that you aren't understanding by everything in your environment. A lot of people don't know that the color red has an effect on your brain, and you don't really see it in nature often. A lot of people don't know that literally down to the color schemes in the food markets, things are interacting with your brain wavelengths in order to get you to interact with them. What's up, Uma?
Thank you, Cheeky. I have to, we have one guest box for all the guests in here. So thank you for that. Thank you for your comments and your questions. I'm going to bring you out. Please feel free to request a box again. All right. That was amazing. Welcome in, Six. Welcome in, everybody. We're having a panel discussion on manipulation and gaslighting. If you have questions, please put them in the comments for the panelists or request a box and come on in.
I forgot this documentary I watched some years back. It's called I think it's called The History of Everything, and it went into Siegfried Floyd's cousin came over to America, and he's one who was considered the father of advertisement. So back in the day, if you remember, like in 1920s, you seen like all the cars were the same color. All that everybody had the same outfit. He discovered by changing the color and charging more prices, it creates a class system. He also discovered he got with Marlboro back in the day. Cigarette sales was going down, and the women movement was starting. And he told them they can use women smoking was like a disrespect to the man power structure. So he used the women's movement and women smoking to market selling cigarettes, but under the virtues of the women's movement, like a stick it to the man type thing. So, like he said, the color scheme: red is attention seeking, yellow makes you hungry. So a lot of this advertisement stuff that people do comes from Siegfried Ford's cousin. I forgot his name, and they discovered these people did research on how to use effective advertising to get people to purchase things.
That's fascinating. Welcome in, Six.
No wonder I like Oscar Mayer and Vanilla Wafer so much. So that case, both of those are yellow and red if you didn't catch it. With that being the case, like even how we just watched this whole situation just play out, you see Ghost God on one side of it have been manipulated before and or seeing manipulation, studying manipulation enough, he's able to maybe even with Zen able to see it, where there's someone on the other side that may lack certain things in life or maybe out to get something, or in a moment's time, like I said before, see something you have that I need, or just in this question, I just want to get something. I want to manipulate this conversation to get an understanding that I'm not getting. So that being the case, is it not a warfare like we were speaking about earlier, saying on both sides? You got one side of the war over here working out ways like a salesman. I have a pitch. I know that I have to empathy, rapport, tie down. I'm going to show you empathy first and get away from the sale, but then show you rapport. So you think I'm your best friend, and then I'm going to tie you down because you told me everything I needed you to hear. So it's war on his side to attack you, while on the defensive side, your husband told you when you come out here, don't buy nothing. So you have these walls and all these things built up, even when it's in dating. You know the man wants sex. You know the man wants your body, but are you gonna, how do you manipulate the situation to get him to show you he wants your mind too? He wants your love and your, you know what I'm saying? So are we not just all manipulating each other on both sides of the spectrum?
I literally just had that. I was going to ask the panel that, is there anybody you guys know that is capable of not manipulating or gaslighting?
No.
I don't know. I don't do it. I'm one of the straight shooters. You ain't gonna like it there. If you come to my stream thinking I'm gonna blow smoke up your butt, you talking to the wrong streamer, because I hold you accountable. What I do is map your logic, take it back to you, and refer back to my original question. Did making that decision, did it make you better or worse? And so things I don't accept when I'm talking to someone. I don't do explanations, justifications, pacifications, specifications, or clarifications. Those all are acts of manipulation. Because if you can, like, I can get you to emotionally attach yourself to what it is I want you to do, then you're going to forgive me. You see what I'm saying? So, for example, Uma, I wrote something on IG about you, right? And then you come back and you say, hey, Zen, why did you write that about me? And I say, girl, I was just going through a lot. I'm sorry. Let me take it down, girl. Da, 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 da. But the whole time I meant every word I said. You allowed me to explain why I did it. Why is a very controversial question, because you're asking me why, and I'm gonna gaslight you. Now I'm gonna love bomb you. Now I'm gonna tell you, girl, it's not what you think it is. You see what I'm saying? And because you are a person who is an empath and emotionally attached, you can say, well, I can forgive you this time, but you just set yourself up for the next manipulation.
There it is. Yep.
So if you don't keep to your boundaries and set them, and people use explanations, justifications, clarifications, specifications, and pacifications in order for you to engage in a connected conversation when a boundary has been broken or crossed, then you are being manipulated. When someone says something, hold them to their word the first time. The why doesn't matter. When you ask why, now you are in the con.
Mm.
Why did you cheat on me? Why did you lie to me? Why did you put your hands on me? When you ask why, you change your boundaries psychologically, subconsciously, and you don't even know it.
And like people, I don't inbox people to ask them to show up to my events and all that, because I don't want them to get caught up in that. People will try to get real close to you to act like they're your friends when really they just after resources. So I tell people, you want to stay distant. I'm a scream. I don't expect loyalty out of nobody on this app because I never met you. I don't know your upbringing, and people pretend real well. You know what I'm saying? So you
Right.
got to be very careful. You got to set those. You got to distance yourself away from people so you don't fall for the manipulation.
Oh, I literally, just before I started the stream at 8 o'clock, I had somebody come in here, and it was funny. He tried to do it to me. It's so basically, to make a very long story short, we're known as the Lotus Lounge. This person I've known for a while on the app, and they started calling their room the Lotus Lounge. So I felt offended. I was like, and he came in another time saying, well, I'm old. He's, in his 60s. So he's like, well, I'm older. So, I've been Lotus Lounge for 60 plus years. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. This is a brand. Like, come on. So he came in here today, and he went to a friend of mine, actually Big Rose, and he was trying to talk about me to Big Rose and be like, oh, I got to talk to you about your friend. So I heard everything, I was in the stream. He just didn't know. And, he came in here today because, his girl broke up with him, and he needs Uma, life coach Uma, right? And I said, this is, and it was the way he talked to her was why she broke up with him and kicked him out. And I said, isn't this crazy? You're coming to me, but you came for me and my whole family on this stream, but now you need my help. And then he was like, well, I didn't really have a problem with you. It was really more with Rose I had a problem with. And I'm like, I was in the room. He didn't know I was in the room. And I said, I saw, you told him, you said, you got to talk about me to him and everything. I was like, just go. But it made me feel sick on the inside. Like you said, I'm an empath, real like sick. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's all.
Oma, I know once before we've had a couple of conversations in regards to law of attraction and
Right.
about a graveyard. We once had so with that graveyard, is that not manipulating? Are you not, even before you add anyone else to your life, you're manipulating the world around you? When we say universe, angels, ancestors, your God, whatever it is you're into, when you're speaking things, when you're thinking things, when you're believing these things, is that not manipulating the world around you?
No, because manipulation requires effort, right? But attracting just requires beingness. So when we do law of attraction,
Okay.
you're like in that energy of I attract to me because my energy, my vibration. But manipulation, you could be at a low vibration and still manipulate, but you can't be at a high vibration and manipulate. At a high vibration, things come to you because of your heart, because of your heart space and your energy. Well,
I
in
see.
metaphysical circles. But what he's talking about is I have a saying where I say today, you don't want to pay attention to what's happening today. I'm a law of attraction coach for those of you that don't know. And I tell my clients, you don't want to pay attention to what's happening today because today is a graveyard of yesterday's manifestations. So what's actually playing out in your life today on today basis, it's not happening because of what you're thinking today. It's happening because of what you thought like maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, and it's finally coming to fruition. So that's what he was talking about.
Am I stuck?
Welcome in everybody. Ghost. Yeah, go ahead.
Was I stuck? Because you had froze up. I wonder, was it mine or yours?
Oh, was I stuck, guys?
No.
Oh, So the question I
Might have
want
been mine.
to bring to you guys, you're all streamers, you all stream. Could we talk about manipulation and gaslighting on streams? 'Cause that's a very specific topic.
Hey, this app
That's
full.
I knew we were gonna do that. She did
We
a
get, if
Hey, this
you're a
app
woman
full of
streamer,
manipulators.
you get gaslit. You get people gaslight you. I say if out of 100, 60 out of 100 people that visit your stream will gaslight you if you're a woman.
specifically women, not the men.
And their
I don't
first
know
two
how
words.
men have it. And, you gotta talk to them. But for women, we're called beautiful,
Gorgeous.
awesome, amazing. You don't know what I am. You don't know what I look like without all this stuff on. Without all this stuff on, I am not beautiful. So shut up.
you like you don't need all it.
Two words. Hey gorgeous. Hey beautiful. Hey lovely. Hey, it's the playing on a woman's initial reaction when you walk in a room. It's, you want that response. You want to see her smile. You want her to turn her head to the left a little bit. That's any man's natural approach to a woman. He wants to feel as though he's made an impression. So I think in these lives, man, you say it a lot. Even when it comes to a gift. Oh, okay, my hey gorgeous didn't make her smile. Let me throw. Oh, okay, my five. Let me throw a row. Oh, okay, let me just throw this jet then. I bet she starts smiling then. So it's levels to the manipulation of
I just did
getting
that.
of
I did
getting it
that.
out of the streamer. You know, it's crazy, right?
Ghost God, well, what's your take on it about manipulation and gaslighting in streams?
I want to answer the previous question in terms
Go
of do everybody manipulate? In my theory, I think everyone has the ability to manipulate, be it consciously or subconsciously. Everyone, including myself, I definitely manipulate. Believe me, I manipulate for my own interest. I manipulate to see if you're a manipulator. I'll throw things out there in a manipulative fashion to see if how you're going to respond to it. And I have to. I grew up. My mother has a personality disorder, so I grew up from birth with it being applied to me. Grew up confused. It's in my DNA, and it's natural for me to spot it. And the other thing with that person who you were dealing with, who went and talked to you about the other person, that's called triangulation. That's another manipulative tactic.
Triangulation.
Yes.
About that.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, triangulation happens a lot in streams. So it's when you take one person, a relationship, and you add a third person in the dynamic, or fourth person or fifth person, and you compare them, right, Zen, and you compare you compare that person to the next, and you have them compete.
Mhm.
So, say for example, cheating, right? Well, you would cheat. That's a form of triangulation. You would take another person, bring them into the relationship, and you would have that person compare themselves to that person for your own interest. In streams, all the time, men are being triangulated against each other. Women are being triangulated against each other to show who's best, who loves me more. Manipulation. It's all
Who the
manipulation.
number one gifter?
Yes, in streams.
Yeah.
But I believe everyone on this planet has the capacity at some time to manipulate, be it consciously or subconsciously.
Right.
I agree with that because
Absolutely.
I know I manipulate, and I actually am I'm seeing a therapist right now because like I've just been looking at some of my behavior and I'm like catching myself on it, and I'm like, I don't like how I feel about that. I don't like that I do that. So I started talking to her, and interestingly enough, it came back to my mother, and I didn't even realize it. But when she started talking about like just patterns I watched as a child growing up, I was like, that's my mom, you know? So it's a big awareness I'm having right now. And I wonder how many of us have that mother wound, you know?
That's that's why I explain it's important to stop that mentality of do as I say, not as I do, because it doesn't teach accountability. So you should say, hey, I'm wrong. You shouldn't do this because I'm doing wrong. You know, this is I don't want you to end up on this road. Like I had to tell my son, like I smoke. He got caught vaping in the bathroom. So I couldn't come to him and be like, don't do that because he see me doing it. So I have to say, son, this is a bad decision I made, and now I'm addicted to it. And this is why I don't want you to be a slave to smoking. You know,
Yeah.
it's all about the approach. Because as I start doing that, I see he be more accountable instead of him trying to lie to the teachers. He's like, yeah, it was me. You know what I'm saying? But I got it from this person, and that's what I just want my kids to be accountable, and I want to be accountable for my actions.
Could you guys talk to me about the relationship of accountability with manipulating? You guys keep bringing that up a lot about lack of accountability. There seems to be a lot of people with lack of accountability. And why are we, 'cause I'm going to include myself in there as well. Why are we like this, lacking accountability?
Because
Because
we
we
love
care how other
resources.
people view us, and we
Because
care
we
how
love
other people view us.
resources. That's it. Because we love resources. We like the finer things in life as humans. We want to look the best, be the best, have the best, whatever the case may be. We absolutely do. And it literally becomes our God. It becomes a thing we pray to, we'll pray on, and we'll pray for, right? So we'll pray, PREY, on others to gain access to these resources. A book I
Facts.
read, and people say, you don't gaslight? No, I don't gaslight and I don't manipulate. And I'm going to tell you why. I read this book. It's called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. What I realize is death comes for us all. We are all going to die. Every single person on this panel may not be here in 10 or 15 years, right? We're going to die. What do you take with you when you die? Nothing. So my whole
No,
thing
you take
is,
a lot.
no, you take nothing. I've never seen a U-Haul follow behind a hearse.
I said
So
you take your
why would
spirits
I
and
want to watch this? Watch this. So why would I want to spend all my time gaslighting and manipulating to have things when I can be honest and have people? Because the memories I share with you, you got to understand when you have a near death experience, it changes your perspective of life.
I've had
So when
mine
I
just
was
like that.
laying in that hospital bed and I read the book by Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements, and I laid in that hospital bed, I realized the most important thing would have been to have somebody there with me watching TV or helping me get my socks on or helping me bathe. So I came away from that realizing that life is bigger than things. So I'm not going to gaslight you. I'm not going to manipulate you. You have a choice. And I think that's where people mess up. They don't give people the choice to choose them. They rather gaslight and take them for the resources that they have. But what you're gaining is nothing. You gain nothing. You can't take any of that. None of that will buy you in heaven if you believe in that, right? None of it is going to buy you into the afterlife if you believe in it, right? None of that is going to do anything. And it's going to be left here for the people who did what? Used you. So the question is, who are you and what do you carry?
So my take on the lack of accountability was that a lot of people lack self-awareness. So they're not even like aware that they're doing things and saying things, but it's not lining up. And I go, for me, I go back to the parents because, like when you think about it, right? A lot of us weren't really given, nobody was given a manual when you have a child saying, okay, this is, you got to do this, you got to teach them this, like we used to have the good book, right? Back in the day, we had, whether it was the Quran or the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita, we had the good book, and the good book would teach us like right from wrong, wrong from right. But a lot of us now, right, are growing up without those religious, spiritual households, and the parents, especially if we're having kids younger and younger and younger, we're kids ourselves having kids, right? So we're not teaching our kids like this is how you need to think or be or whatever, whatever. What do you guys think about that? My theory on that.
If I may, for a long time, like I grew up saying, it was Bill Cosby, yo. It was Uncle Phil, it was John Amos on Good Times. It was different world that made me want to go to a black school. I was not, it's not having that influence or having that influence, or the fact that my pops beat on my mom, like it really did. It molded. I think anything that molds you is can we couple the word mold with manipulate? Because having that structure of religion in my household, but also seeing my mother say and do certain things that didn't align with her religion, had me conflicted as a child. Because that's when it goes back to that, right? That's when it goes back to that, do as I say, not as I do. And I'm trying to understand that. And as a kid, you just can't, because I'm getting whooped, I'm getting chastised, I'm getting punished for making mistakes, but you make them and no one's there to punish you.
I understand that completely. That caused a lot of confusion for me as well.
And I'm gonna tell you what else it causes. It causes problems with dealing with authority figures. It make you docile to authority figure while you won't stand up for yourself, even though the authority figure is wrong. You feel like because do as they say, know what I'm saying, not as they do. You won't take them. You won't take them to the proper people because of that mentality.
Wow. All right. Do we have any questions for the panel? This was amazing. I'm like in shock. I just really appreciate all you guys coming in and sharing your talent, your wisdom. It's not over. The show, I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording. I hope I did it right. I got a new iPhone. I'm a Droid girl, so I don't know. Hopefully I recorded it and I could put it up to YouTube, because I think this was a great discussion. But you guys, please feel free to hang out and ask any questions to the panel and the panelists. You have something that you want to talk about as well, but I'm officially going to hit stop on the record to put up on the YouTube. Is there any topics we missed about gaslighting or manipulation you guys want to bring to the forefront? We need a part two. Great.
For anybody here who's going through anything, alcohol is the easiest way to get manipulated. When you start drinking, your senses will tone into manipulative tones, and you will get you get taken for a ride. So you want to be aware of that. Drink, especially if you go through grief or dealing with abandonment, neglect issues. This is a dangerous space because you got to keep in mind there's a lot of scammers and people who do this